Okay, welcome back. Today, it's going to be more card review until probably the end of the month, actually. Um, and I want to consider what I was doing before, which I don't remember. Not fully. Enemy base. Why is this enemy base 2? This inherits enemy base. Why is it named enemy base 2? Huh, weird. Alright. What did I want to do last time? Which I just has hit already. I have done this. Okay, and that reminds me then that the primary boxes and stuff are not set properly. So I want to remove it from enemy base. And put it on entity base. Okay. I want to go to the script, find where absolutely everything is just not set. Fix the naming. Okay. And let's verify that this works. Am I just not getting stunned? Okay, we broke that. I seem to not be able to hit them either, meaning the numbers are wrong. And it might be from this part still. Ready function. Hitbox and hitbox. Yes, that's the thing. Let's change. Defaults, player defaults, so let's use it to what they're supposed to be, which is these, I believe. Right? Default's done there. Yeah, that's done. This no longer needs to be different. That should fix the knockdown property. Or the knockdown state. Oh. Player doesn't have it set properly? What? Well, they should be on set on base character. Why is it not set on base character? Just watching it. Okay. Not into dash. It started an attack. Yeah, I don't. I think I don't have to recreate it. But what are these 31 errors I'm getting? Tweeners, stuff. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Okay. Yeah. What are all the locations? Stun manager, boss logic. Yeah, so I did the primary boxes on entity state. I want to double check all the locations they have to type checks. Stun manager is confirmed fixed. Where else is it? On player controller and GD. They are doing the exact same things. The only difference is one of them is crouch and one of them is not crouching. But there is a type. That is crouching. This is in player, but it could be in entity base. Melee bar is since I made one for both. Player controller. Yoink. And wait. And they're not spelled the same. One's not saved either. What's next? Entity base. Do this. Is crouching. Use the correct name. double check it on the boss, which also has one, and should just call it instead. Which I think it just decided to do automatically. I'll double check that it works on this and fine. Probably not immediately. No, it seems to be working fine. I guess it's being called somewhere. So why was that? Okay. I'll have to just go that plug at some point and get a consistent answer for it. Okay. 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 That has been done as well. What is next? Did that even get done yet? Okay. It did get done. Control F, target. Attack manager. Okay. Hitboxes usually get fragile to get parent chains. If the scene tree changes, the slicing silently breaks would be an export S instead. Hit box being done with export is not reasonable. Okay. Hitbox being done with export is not reasonable. Then there's let's move the input manager component calls Yeah, I'm probably not going to follow exactly what it wants me to do since I have a little bit of an idea of what I want to do with it. This is Input Manager. Okay. So right now we have as direct references Attack Manager, which is now on the player. So let's do that. Which breaks right here, which is I don't think needed. We go host dot attack manager and host dot attack manager dot frame minus host dot. Okay. Then everywhere else here, I caught the space, which is a little annoying. Okay, that gets rid of those calls. The entity base should have attack manager, stun manager, stats, health component, scale component. Stun manager, attack, scale component, health component, stats. Primary. Hurt boxes. Um, okay. That check seems right. Okay. Separate out movement and whatnot from using the input manager. So right now this grabs something from the input manager, which I don't want. What I should do is run the jumping stuff on a signal call. I think, right? Signal jump? Input manager should I be using signals? I don't like this. It's it already doesn't even need attack manager, which has been removed. Single jump. That would require jump to be pressed, which you don't know that here, and you check it here. Jump handler 2 doesn't do it here. This does. So we've got checks for coyote time, being on the floor regularly and being in the air regularly. Movement update. Let's start with that one. Movement manager. But don't some of those from every from let's get right into context. They are the same as what you know. Okay, let me get the dash check components account. So if the player is stunned or attacking, don't dash. Tagging is stunned. Right? Tagging is stunned. If it's stunned, return. The stun check is already there. Mm, okay. I'd like to remove the input manager from here. And it's just those buffer checks. So that would mean removing this, cut this out, and basically this entirely. Chapter 2, which is let's just do it here. That statement. That's just the if statement. If this thing okay. If this signal is not defined or something. dash signal takes in direction, which is a type vector, to left. Um, save, run it? Doesn't work immediately. Right, connect. Dash, when ready. Um, host input. I see example of the stun manager actually, because that one's got on that probably. Commit current type, and then the thing that listens for this would be if it's stun manager. Wait, what does the stun manager listen to? What kind of thing? Is it bot? Or is it NTC base that actually listens for the signal? And I'm out of. No, I have one more message maybe. Okay, on dash requested, host input manager dash requested. Okay, this is what I'm looking for. But of course it's not that, it is dash signal. Okay, now if I run it, it exists here. It can't be input manager as is. Which is why entity base should have a control node. In base characters, it would be the input manager. Benefit manager does not have a class called control node or something. Nor do I really have like a proper. Okay. Oh, that's because this is capitalized. Probably is the problem. That works, yay. Okay, there's something wrong with it. Oops. Okay, let's not have this crash on me fully while things are not working. Or stop. Okay. What the heck is happening? Is it ending on its own? If dashing is stunned, reset. If dashing. I dash instantly, but why is that? That's my main question. Okay, we call dash handler once. We set up is dashing. We turn off falling. We turn off. Timer start the next duration. If dashing and timer is stopped, stop dashing. What else should actually be set here? Falling, probably. I shouldn't change like that anymore. I don't think, because that doesn't make sense. This should, so some things should just be running in the process frame, so. Let me just make a quick function for state check func. If host is on floor, this should be true. This is the start dash. Dash handler 2. Dash. Just let continue. I feel like it's wrong. Why is that right? So when we start the dash, we set the dash value to either, sorry, using the dash value, we set whether or not host is falling. Equals false if dashing else. Else true. Host dot if falling equals false if is dashing, else it's true. So always false unless you're dashing. Okay. If dashing is false and we're on the ground, dash in the direction dashing is correct and it defines the ground dash. Otherwise, if we're in the air, check can air action air dash, which is set here and maybe one other place. Okay. Okay. So right now this is never set again, which I think could be changed. So if we're stunned and attacking is false, if we're on the floor, we set that. Okay. Still flies. I think that's correct, right? Just like that. Okay. But this is both CPU. Oh, right. Okay. Um, extends entity base, which extends that, but I should be just is attacking, isn't it? Either way, it was not part of the main point of the test, but let's check. Yeah, also, it's not set here properly. Could be in here, set these to the correct value. Uh, Instead of numbers, it can be set to an enumeration, I think. The credible player is also not a set, I guess. Yeah, there's not really a ton. Just hope it doesn't break on me, since it has reduced logic anyways. So I'm gonna reset here, which is normal, I guess. Okay. Technically, those could be part of the primaries, but still. Honestly, I might actually add one. Sanctuary child scene, primary, or boxes, and stuff. Delete one, delete two, just set this instead. Basically the same, right? What does this need to know its entity like that? It also doesn't have that as a check, so I'm going to put that in the script as a check. I think, wait, no, it is. Okay. Right, yeah, okay, I guess that makes sense. Probably a little more accurate. Oh, that's like that. Okay. Hello. Welcome. I just noticed your message. Getting the hitbox system to work is fair. Um, I wish it told me what time the message came in, so I could know if I've been too late or not. Oh wait, there is an option for that. 11:47. What? There's no way it was 11:47. That would have been a moment after I started. Okay. Man, I need to be better. Because I'm not used to having a chat at all, but I don't read messages. I only caught wind of it once, I think. Okay. I was working on player agents dash. Okay. Calling it set to true. Makes sense. When I start the dash, make it false. Right? Because we do the check in the input manager at that bottom point there. Right? We do a dash check for the inputs. If the correct inputs are pressed, we start a dash. When we do it. But that's only the inputs, right? So if I theoretically just spam it in the air. Okay, why is it not working in the air? Spam. Emit the signal once. Okay. Emit the signal. It starts the dash, it checks if we are dashing, and makes sure only if we are not, if dashing is false. And can error action. So we can't dash again until this is true again, which requires you touching to the floor at least once. Okay. I'm starting to be happier with the use cases of signals, which is great. Can I change this to an int actually? Like now? Was one so count export. Minus equals 1, greater than equals to 0, or greater than 0. And error action count equals initial. this would require a stat for it. Let's see. If I wanted to rename this to work with integers, what are possible names? Air dash count, remaining air dashes, probably the best one. Okay, remaining air dashes, and then in entity base or player. This would be player stats, so I need to go to stats, search stats, player stats resource, at export, var max air dash count int save remaining air dashes equals for on ready equals host dot stats dot air did it save? Max air dash count is 0. And this subtract 1. And this greater than 0. Equals host dot stats dot max dash count. Okay, I added a few things to work with air dash counts instead for the dash code. It also uses the signals. Now, my problem is the typing on the stats property isn't explicit as its base is entity stats, and I'm using an extended stats instead. Do we just cast it? Wait, there's data code? No, I think his dashing could be true when someone's trying to call it. Is it because it's not compiling properly? So I have two ways to dash, one which is an attack and one which is an actual a dash thing. Which I do still need to decide on, kind of. Yeah, I have no idea what it's talking about. Do I want to do it that way, though? It's not stats as player stats. That makes more sense. It is a little concerning that way, but it is 2 lines, so. Okay. So by decoupling, I think I made the thing also better, because now we have like this dash direction vector thing, which allows us to make 8-way dashes a lot more easier. Um, Now, I don't think it would do the same for one of my other ideas. I think that's fine. I need to do the same thing basically with the jump in the movement. Which is like all this checking is done. So first check if the input's been pressed. Okay, then check if we're on the floor to do an air jump, a ground jump. Let me set up the player stats as well. Then max air jump count. Who is up? That's interesting. Okay. Max air jump count. And air and I can jump is wherever from dash the same kind of human style. Yeah, it's on already, which makes sense. Air jumps, change it to an int. On ready. Set it to host dot stats as player stats dot max air jump count. If only air jumps greater than 0. This is -1 minus equals 1. Okay. Let me set for the base character these two stats just so I don't forget. Do it 1 and 1. And air jump seems fine. Can't spam it. Doesn't look like I can air dash a trillion times. Okay, let's set it to 3 air dashes. Yeah, so that was 2 air dashes. If I really spam it, I get a tiny bit of falling. Or none at all, I can't tell. So that seems to be working. 3 here for jumps. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. That's the wrong button. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that counts as ground jump and 3 air jumps, which makes sense. Yeah, let's call this start underscore jump. Let's call this continue jump and rename. Go to, let me save this, we go to the input manager. Check the signal, there isn't one. Jump signal, I assume it takes a direction as well. I guess unused, yeah. This can now be host. Host. It could all be host, couldn't it? If I just delete everything and replace it with host, does it work out or no? Host, host. This should also be host, and this should just not exist here. Okay. I thought that was going to be named differently. This is definitely named differently. The only ones are comments left. Okay. So yeah, I don't need it to be a separate thing, which is great, I guess. Since it just has to be the host, means make sure it's assigned. Yep. Okay. So the jump signal is the one thing that's going to be a little bit more iffy for me. It has the same two checks. If attacking is false, Control C. Movement. Okay. Those are the same two checks. Input manager, does it have to be doing it itself? If we emit the signal to dash while we are attacking, We start the dash, but we don't continue it, and it's definitely set. I don't think so. So if we set it during while we were attacking, we would start the dash with the thing. It would run once. It would set dashing is true and the velocity. Yeah, I didn't think so. Okay. And I think the jump one maybe either I'm too tired or it's more complicated and I don't know what to do. Okay, I changed remaining and I added these conditions to continue. But I didn't change much. Hmm. Getting tired of having headphones on my head. It's the most comfortable thing, but it is something. It is a little annoying after a long time. I've been streaming for how long today? Hour and a half. Okay. Let's try a little bit more. Um, I don't have water to drink. Unless I were to go get some from outside the room. It's mainly the jump condition. So we've got floor jump, coyote jump, and air jump. We have, probably not going to use the buffer check like this. Where am I? I forget. I forget if I'm going to use the buffer check. Why am I unsure of that? One second. So it's buffering, but I just don't know how. I'm actually a little confused on how it's buffering the jump input. Okay. How's it buffering? My most curious question. It's buffering and I don't know why. It might be the coyote jump, actually. Let's see, let me scroll up, because I believe I print coyote jump information. Yeah, I print C, or air jump. Yeah, it was an air jump. Okay, that's why it always looks like it, yeah. What tribe? Yeah, so there is no buffering. It just doesn't happen. Um, project settings, input map. So up, light kick and jump, jump. So for light kick and jump, spacebar is valid. For up, W is valid. L is valid, but up should not jump, which I believe is true. Yep, up doesn't jump. Okay. First off, all these ups are not needed. Or the ends might be needed still. Okay, and the more up we go, and so can is all of them. Okay. Jump, light kick, and jump are both the same input as well, so I don't think I need these either. This input manager dot input direction can definitely just be passed, so dir Victor 2 probably. There are 4 cases of it. Is the first one up there? No, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Wait, why is that one using the... Should be int? Okay. Just make sure it doesn't break by putting input direction. Seems to be fine. Input buffering probably still not valid. Movement. The value checks. Definitely not up. It can't be up, right, or up left. It should be just one thing, which is jump. And then this should be checked to be buffered, which is light kick. And light kick is light kick, so it's doable. My concern is will it work? Let's check that light kick works as a jump. Spacebar is also set to it. Can't double jump because the buffer eats it immediately. Is the check correct? There's the hold and there's the non-hold. But it checks the buffer more than once, I'm guessing. Which is where the problem comes in. If I do... a new sequence called jump, and it is 5 light kick. I forget what light kick is. Well, still gets read immediately. Before I had just pressed, which by itself was fine, but now that there's a buffer check, it needs to be cleaned up to consume the input once, which a signal won't do if it gets checked a second time, the very next frame. If this end is jumping equals false, it also gets rid of hits from here and here. Still comes out on both. Let's say I just changed the move list to be a few fives in there, just to make sure. That's one way, but if I hold it long enough, it seems to. It comes out on release because I have input release as well. If you tap it, it's fine. If you hold it just long enough, you'll hit the input release. If I add a few more fives, there's one way to get around it. But then you actually have to time your jump. Making one bug to make another bug. You know, that happens often enough. I just don't know what the best solution is. Is adding the one too much here? Yeah, okay, it starts becoming too many. Wait, why is it too many here? Check for a sequence inside the buffer, which it has to be that entire sequence. Yeah, I don't have a good solution to this. I'll probably have to install something for making this jumping not be as bad as it is. By the way, how's your hitbox system going? Is it working now, or is it still having trouble? Let's see. Movement. I hope the spaghetti code doesn't kill me later. Yeah, so jump doesn't have buffering. Have I not put a to-do in this list? This thing at all? Okay, that's just annoying. Let's make things more accurate. Jump, buffering, or make it an attack. Just make a bigger bug to eat the smaller bug. And then you can at least see that bigger bug and fix both. That's one way to think about it. Um, how do I make the jump and attack is a thing I don't know. I do see your messages and I did pay attention to it, so... Okay, it didn't update immediately, which is weird. Or, no, you had just sent them in the last seconds. Still having troubles. I'm kind of trying to do a bit of an unorthodox method. I've added a mesh to a bone that my base mesh's animations control in Blender. But getting it to activate properly has been wonky. That sounds 3D. I don't know how to work in 3D. Yeah, it does not. But sometimes it gets postponed to the next day when you actually have someone to consult. I've been using Claude a little bit. I've been trying to separate. Is there anything else I can separate from each other? I think this is fine. I do want to maybe test some more. Because I use as a relative for position-based stuff. In my animations for things like moving, but for this stuff I don't. Okay, I'm gonna try this as relative. Let's see how this works. I'm guessing I just don't have it set properly. Okay, let me set that aside. Where did I put this? Why is it down there? Oh boy, that is terrible to be down there. Moveless, normals, grounded, heavies, punch. Oh, where did all my attacks go? Hold up. Companies are definitely sometimes a bad thing. Okay, what happened to my move list? Yeah. AI has also been seen as bad more so in the arts rather than the code, which is another thing that seems to be what I have observed from people. Okay, I am getting annoyed by that just not working, so I am going to heavy punch as well as forward heavy punch just so I can try it. Am I setting the velocity to 0 actually? Yes. Maybe stop running into the detection range of that thing so it stops bothering me. Yep. Barely moves. Moves a lot more. So by tap. Okay, so by having that, it accelerates more. Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. I'm gonna keep it like that for now. I'm going to remove the as relatives, and I'm gonna copy paste it and duplicate it, and then add like another if statement on it. And pull to let me add the as relatives first. I'll comment and bool to regarding as relative property. Thing to keep momentum Alright. Is it that just all my attacks are gone? Yep. I gotta need to set those again. Ugh. Light kick. Light kick doesn't have anything. Light punch. Down, light punch. Up, forward, which is upright. The overhead, heavy punch, heavy punch. Down left, heavy punch is not what I'm looking for. Heavy punch. Low. Up. Heavy punch is the anti-air. The aerial heavy punch is this thing. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which is correct. Special moves, set those back again. Kind of special moves, quarter circles. Let me do up, forward, and forward, up. Light kick, which is my jump button as well. Okay. Down forward is the fire blow on light punch. Forward, down, punch. Is the explosion. Heavy kick, which is block. Okay, both the block is invisible and too big. Whoopsie daisy. Animation stuff, spawn objects. Open the scene. Go to the 2D. Activate the grid. Reset to 1. And can it be not invisible this time? No, it's staying invisible. Which is not what I want. One is allowed to exist. Why is it just invisible when it spawns? Sprite, it has a sprite. Size. Fix it. No. This large ice block is just not showing up. Is the attack itself invisible? Oh yeah, that's why. Yeah, thanks for that. I've put a decent amount of effort into trying to keep things organized. Uh, the system is hopefully easy-ish to use. There's more words here than I would like for the move list, but a move list can be very big for fighting games. So I want that versatility. Um, I've been trying to separate out some components and centralize things, like putting all of my important conditions here, as well as important components. Um, I've got a few enemies, but I need a lot more systems. I also need UI. I need to start on UI at some point. Probably next month in like 2-3 days after I'm done decoupling and deciding with some things what to do with them. Input manager. Does this have anything I don't like it having? Move list is probably fine. Movement component, scale component, dash component. Why is this here still? Dash component here, don't need it if it's not used later again. Okay. If crouching or is attacking, a dash component is false. If not dashing, we can update. Do I put it on player? If it's on the entity base, it doesn't have to be used by other entities, so I will put it on the entity base. Okay, that'll get fixed probably soon. It is. Right. Oh, I already declared it? Of course I did. Okay. That should fix input manager. Yep. And done. He should have broken there. Ooh. Wait, why is air dash working but not grounded dash? And crouching or dashing. That's important. If we're on the floor, dashing is false. Input direction takes priority. If I go to emit the dash signal, this is the wrong is dash property value. They have to be the same. Pretty sure for everything. Yeah, seems to be fine. Now, dash has been removed from input manager as far as I can tell entirely. Alright, I get it. I think I'm gonna end it here. For me, it's late at night, and I've done a decent amount of the coupling. I think I'm gonna tackle jump tomorrow, which I should note down. Um, jump slash jump buffering. I don't know if I'll be able to do the jump buffering because that's been sitting there as like a problem for a while with how the system currently works. Like it would work well if I didn't have a on release counted as an input, but I'm not sure yet. Alright, well, thank you for watching. Hasta